Kyoto is the ancient capital of Japan, and Arashiyama, located a bit far from the city's center, is where you can best experience the atmosphere of ancient Japan. Arashiyama attracts a large number of domestic and international tourists throughout the year. During the Heian period 1,000 years ago, it was a popular leisure spot for nobles. With cherry blossoms in spring, bamboo forests in summer, autumn foliage, snowy winter landscapes, and World Heritage temples, Arashiyama can be considered one of Japan's top tourist destinations. Tourist areas often face the destiny of becoming commercialized and filled with commercial activities. However, Arashiyama has become a special place because it is a tourist area. This former hotspot for the leisure activities of the nobility has managed to preserve its environment without losing its historical charm. In fact, it could be overly protected, leading to some inconveniences. Director Akito from Japan introduces you to the lesser-known charms of Arashiyama. The Togetsukyo Bridge, which represents Arashiyama, is very special. Any travel guide will introduce Arashiyama with a view of the Togetsukyo Bridge. Do you know why that is? Many visitors to Arashiyama come to see the pink cherry blossoms in spring and the red autumn leaves, especially around the Togetsukyo Bridge area over the Katsula River, which offers a stunning view. However, there is a unique and often overlooked site that I would like to introduce to you: the Togetsukyo Bridge itself. This long and distinctly Japanese bridge is one of the reasons why people from all over the world beloved Arashiyama. As you walk across this bridge, what do you notice that makes it unique? Starting from the Hankyu Arashiyama station and walking towards the center of Arashiyama, you will inevitably pass the Togetsukyo Bridge. Visitors often take photos with the bridge and the backdrop of Arashiyama behind them. Most travel guides and TV shows introduce Arashiyama with images from this angle. The Togetsukyo Bridge is filled with the wisdom and dedication of the Japanese people. Suppose you don't notice anything special about the bridge after looking at it for a while. In that case, it means that the people who put in the effort behind the scenes have succeeded. To protect the beauty of Arashiyama, a lot of thought went into the bridge's construction. The Katsula River flows beneath the bridge and has a rapid current during the rainy season and has even washed the bridge away. Since vehicles can also use the bridge, it cannot be made of wood. Despite its appearance, the bridge is not made of reinforced concrete. The railings on both sides are made of Japanese cypress, and the bridge's body is covered in wood. If you don't pay close attention, you wouldn't think that it's not a wooden bridge. This design ensures safety while preserving the appearance of the past. Another important consideration is the unobstructed view from the bridge. Have you noticed that nothing is blocking your view of the surrounding scenery? The reason is that there are no tall street lights on the bridge. If there were a series of street lights on the Togetsukyo Bridge, the view of Arashiyama from this angle would be diminished. Removing the street lights may seem simple, but it hides a history of failure. The original Togetsukyo Bridge was built in the 9th century and has over 1,000 years of history. The location of the original bridge was different from its current one, about 100 meters upstream. It was rebuilt at its present site in the 17th century and has survived fires and floods. The modern bridge was rebuilt and completed in 1934, and maintenance was carried out from 1994 to 2000. In order not to affect the surrounding landscape, and due to the signing of the Kyoto Protocol in 1997, the city government promoted environmental protection and decided not to install street lights. There is only one river nearby, with no residences or shops. You can imagine how difficult it was to cross the bridge in the dark. It was dangerous for ladies to encounter men crossing the bridge, and vehicles passing by posed a risk. Some citizens requested the installation of street lights, but their requests were not adopted due to concerns about the landscape and environmental issues. In 2004, one of Kyoto's tourism organizations, the Arashiyama Hozugawa, proposed the installation of street lights powered by hydroelectricity. The Kyoto Eco Movement Center agreed, and hydroelectric power was generated using the flow of the Katsula River. A short distance away, you can find a hydroelectric generator with a white exterior. The riverbed here has a slight drop, which generates electricity. A signboard near the bridge on the side with shops introduces the project and displays the amount of electricity generated. So how do they solve the problem of tall street lights? As I crossed the Togetsukyo bridge at night, I noticed it wasn't pitch black. There was lighting. On both sides of the bridge, a row of low street lights separates the road from the pedestrian path. These short street lights, which use LED technology, consume less electricity and do not emit excessive light, thus avoiding a negative impact on the scenery. The lights also guide rickshaw drivers, helping them pull their passengers across the bridge. The purple hue of the lights represents the color of Kyoto. Visitors take photos and admire the surrounding views from the Togetsukyo bridge with bright smiles. This is something to be taken seriously, as maintaining the quality of the landscape is challenging. The Togetsukyo bridge is a testament to the people of Kyoto's dedication to preserving the scenery of the past. The river flowing through the Togetsukyo bridge is the Katsula River. Not far from the bridge, you can see visitors paddling blue boats. 1,000 years ago, during the Heian period, nobles used to row boats along this river and compose poetry. You can admire the cherry blossoms and autumn leaves from the small boats up close. For just 1,500 yen per hour, why not experience the atmosphere of ancient nobility? As I walked past the boat rental area, I happened upon the Hoshino Resort's luxury hotel. To reach the inn, you must take a 15-minute ride on their exclusive shuttle boat, a modern luxury for the elite. During the autumn foliage season, riding the Sagano Scenic Railway becomes one of the most popular activities in Arashiyama. Many people have taken this small train along the Hozugawa Gorge. The gorge is a valley with the upper part of the Katsula River, the Hozugawa River, flowing below. You can also enjoy another noble class activity here, the Hozugawa River downstream cruise. Why is it considered a noble class experience? First, the price, at 4,100 yen per person, it's not cheap. Second, the boat ride covers a 16-kilometer route, taking an hour and a half from the upstream starting point to the final destination at the Togetsukyo Bridge. Third, several British royal family members, including Edward VIII and Romanian royalty, visited the area. Lastly, the most precious aspect is the boatmen who have inherited 400 years of rowing techniques and provide a guided tour for passengers throughout the journey. The Hozugawa River was once a water transportation route, and 1,200 years ago, it was used to transport lumber for the construction of Nagokakyo, the former capital, and Osaka Castle. In the 17th century, Kyoto merchant Sumino Kurarawa dredged the Hozugawa River, removing large rocks from the riverbed to transport rice, wheat, and firewood from the upstream Tomba region to Kyoto. Along with the changes in the river course, he also relocated the Togetsukyo Bridge to its current position. The rapid currents required skilled boatmen to transport goods to Kyoto safely. The Hozugawa River downstream cruise started around 140 years ago, partly to prevent the boatmen's skills from being lost. This noble class entertainment attracts 300,000 visitors annually who experience the boat journey. After learning about the charm of the Hozugawa River, the 4,000 yen price, although not cheap, is worth experiencing. I would invite my family to join me on a boat ride, surrounded by cherry blossoms or autumn leaves, enjoying this unique journey. Finally, you may wonder how the boats of the Hozugawa River downstream cruise return upstream. Do the boatmen row vigorously back upstream? When the boats reach the downstream area, they are hoisted onto trucks with cranes and transported back upstream, 3 boats at a time. Fortunately, I was able to witness the process. Every splendid performance requires the support of hard-working backstage staff. About 100 meters upstream from the Togetsukyo Bridge, near the Hoshino Resort's luxury hotel, is the Shinkoji Temple, a memorial for the workers who lost their lives dredging the Hozugawa River. Their spirits watch over the river they helped create from the hills above. Another must-see attraction in Arashiyama, along with the cherry blossoms and autumn leaves, is the Bamboo Grove Path. The path has tall green bamboo on both sides, creating a dense bamboo forest. While it is not an uncommon sight, the actual value of the bamboo grove can only be appreciated by visiting in person. It's best to visit when there are fewer tourists, as walking through the grove is more enjoyable without the crowds. When you can relax and listen to the bamboo leaves rubbing against each other as the breeze blows through, you genuinely enjoy the bamboo grove. Visit early in the morning or after dusk for a more peaceful experience. However, be cautious when visiting at night, as there are no street lights in the area, and it can be pitch black, which can be a bit unsettling. Thankfully, someone walking ahead of me used his phone's flashlight to light the way. The Arashiyama Hanatoro event occurs every December, illuminating the Bamboo Grove Path. To avoid the crowds, consider having dinner in Arashiyama and visiting the illuminated path after 8 p.m. I found another way to appreciate the beauty of the bamboo grove. Between the groves, there's a rare level crossing where the JR Sagano-Arashiyama line and the Sagano Scenic Railway intersect. Waiting for a train to pass by could make for a precious photo opportunity. It's not just humans who enjoy the bamboo grove. Even cats know how to appreciate it. I saw a cat sitting in a quiet, secluded spot, seemingly deep in meditation. You might have heard of the Tale of Genji, the world's oldest long-form realistic novel. Set in Kyoto 1,000 years ago, the story revolves around the protagonist, Hikaru Genji, and his romantic escapades with various women. A place mentioned in the Tale of Genji is the Nonomiya Shrine within the Bamboo Grove. Nonomiya Shrine was originally a purification site for imperial women selected to serve as priestesses at Ise Shrine. In the story, one of Genji's lovers is chosen to go to Ise and becomes confined in Nonomiya Shrine. Genji secretly visits her at the shrine on a deep autumn evening to bid her farewell, making for a touching scene. As a result, Nonomiya Shrine is famous for prayers for marriage. Ladies, please visit Nonomiya Shrine to pray for protection against your boyfriends or husbands following in Genji's footsteps, seeking new conquests. Another unique feature of Nonomiya Shrine is the Black Torii Gate at its entrance. It is the oldest torii gate in Japan, made from sawtooth oak without removing the bark. It is the most ancient method of torii gate construction. In the past, the gate was replaced every 3 years. Still, due to the scarcity of sawtooth oak in recent years, the current Black Torii Gate was donated by a company from Shikoku, made from sawtooth oak from Tokushima Prefecture's Tsurugi Mountain. The entrance is coated with a protective material to prevent decay, demonstrating the spirit of cooperation and preserving culture throughout Japan. Even without the cherry blossoms and autumn leaves, the charm of Arashiyama remains as captivating as ever. Passing through the bamboo grove, you'll reach the Arashiyama station of the Sagano Scenic Railway. Why is a sightseeing train so far from the center of Arashiyama? When the Sagano Scenic Railway was first constructed, its purpose was entirely different from what it is now. As mentioned earlier, the Hozugawa River was once used for transporting lumber and goods. The railway route opened in 1897 and was initially called Kyoto Railway and served both freight and passenger transportation. Its purpose was to connect the city center of Kyoto with cities along the Sea of Japan. The closest station to the center of Arashiyama, Saga Station, is still a 15-minute walk away, as Arashiyama's sightseeing potential was not initially prioritized. After the opening of the Kyoto Railway, the demand for transportation shifted from the Hozugawa River to the faster and more efficient railway. The boatmen of the Hozugawa River adapted to the changing times, transforming their boats into sightseeing cruise ships. The Kyoto Railway was later acquired by Japan National Railways. In 1989, due to electrification and double tracking, a new railway line was built, and the old route was converted into the present-day Sagano Scenic Railway, becoming Japan's first sightseeing-only train route. The open-style cars were adapted from former freight cars, and 2 years later, the Arashiyama station in the bamboo grove was completed and opened. It has since become a popular Arashiyama attraction, attracting over 1 million visitors annually. The Hozugawa River cruise ships and the Scenic Railway have successfully transformed into popular attractions, overcoming environmental changes and supporting Arashiyama's tourism industry. Their stories are inspiring, and I look forward to sharing more with you if the opportunity arises. To provide additional information, the Randen, with its main station in the center of Arashiyama, is a suburban sightseeing train connecting Kyoto's city center with Arashiyama. On the other side of the Togetsukyo Bridge is the Hankyu Railway's Arashiyama Station, primarily transports residents from Osaka and Kobe to Arashiyama for sightseeing. Each of the 3 train stations in Arashiyama serves a specific purpose. Before trains connected to Arashiyama, the area was less accessible, and the number of tourists visiting Arashiyama was relatively low. Compared to the Higashiyama area, where Yasaka Shrine and Kiyomizu Temple are located, the Sagano Arashiyama area in the western mountains needed more appeal. Prior to the establishment of train service to Arashiyama, the village head of Saga listed 4 reasons why Arashiyama was less attractive compared to Higashiyama. It was farther from Kyoto's city center. The maintenance and management of scenic spots were inadequate. There were fewer courtesans, and other nearby attractions had low visibility. The impact of trains on Arashiyama's development was significant. It's interesting to note that, a century ago, the Japanese people used the number of courtesans in an area to measure a tourist destination's appeal. Studying the geishas of Yasaka Shrine and Gion would be fascinating. Most visitors to Arashiyama tend to explore the central area near the World Heritage Site, Tenryuji Temple. However, the Arashiyama behind the Togetsukyo Bridge is often overlooked. The Togetsukyo Bridge, mentioned repeatedly, used to be called the Horin Bridge. Over 700 years ago, Emperor Kamiyama saw the full moon appearing to cross the bridge and renamed it Togetsukyo Bridge. The original name, Horin Bridge, was derived from the nearby Horinji Temple. When you get off at Hankyu Arashiyama Station and walk towards this area before crossing the Togetsukyo Bridge, you'll see a smaller bridge called Togetsubashi. This spot is an excellent place for taking photos. When it gets crowded, you can come here. A little further, you'll find the entrance to the hot spring in Togetute, which offers beautiful scenery in autumn. Walk a bit more, and you'll discover a dimly lit staircase. I didn't pay much attention to this area at first, but upon mustering the courage to climb the stairs, I reached Horenji Temple. Turning left, I found a stunning view. A grand staircase accesses the main entrance, and the combination of autumn leaves and the temple's scenery is top-notch. It's a great choice to avoid the crowds by coming here. Walking in another direction, you'll see a newly built area from where you can overlook the entire Arashiyama. It's hard to believe that access to this place is free. Most travel books only dedicate a few lines to describe Horenji Temple, showing that blindly following the crowd may only sometimes be the wisest course of action. As you continue walking, you'll come across the monkey park. You may wonder why there's a monkey park in a popular tourist destination like this. Before the railway was built in the Arashiyama area, much of the land was covered in fields. For people who grew up in the city center of Kyoto, the western mountains were seen as a rural area full of monkeys. To see the monkeys in Arashiyama, you must take a 20-minute hike up the mountain path to reach Monkey Park. Perhaps the monkeys high up on the hill are the true masters of the Arashiyama area. Arashiyama has countless attractions, including the World Heritage Site of Tenryuji Temple in the central area. Without a doubt, you can see cherry blossoms in spring and autumn leaves at Tenryuji. However, this is not the value that makes Tenryuji a World Heritage Site. Let me share some insights on visiting the World Heritage Site of Tenryuji Temple. Tenryuji was built in the 14th century when the emperor and samurai fought for power and control over Japan. Emperor Go-Daigo and the Kamakura shogunate, founded by Minamoto no Yoritomo, conflicted. Emperor Go-Daigo commanded the samurai Ashikaga Kuroji to attack the Kamakura shogunate, and they successfully defeated it. After regaining power, the emperor adopted a new policy to centralize control in the imperial court, reducing the samurai status. Ashikaga Kuroji was dissatisfied and opposed Emperor Go-Daigo, driving him to Yoshino and Nara. Soon after, Emperor Go-Daigo passed away. To ensure the emperor's peaceful rest, the samurai Ashikaga Kuroji built Tenryuji Temple and created the most beautiful garden. The beauty of the Sajinchi Garden at Tenryuji has been preserved for 700 years. The Sajinchi Garden integrates the nearby Arashiyama and Kamiyama into its scenery, making it a borrowed landscape garden. This representative garden became part of the World Heritage Site Historic Monuments of Ancient Kyoto. When visiting Tenryuji, be sure to explore the Sajinchi Garden. Sit quietly in front of the hall and admire the garden, feeling the essence of Japan from 700 years ago. Without guidance on appreciating World Heritage Sites, you might not know where to begin and miss out on experiencing some of the world's most valuable cultural treasures. In Arashiyama, there is another temple called Daikakuji, which has an even longer history than Tenryuji. Compared to Tenryuji, which has been burned down 8 times, Daikakuji is better preserved. The temple also houses the national treasure, Emperor Go-Yuda's handprint testament. However, Daikakuji has not been listed as a World Heritage Site. At a summit held on the 20th anniversary of the successful inscription of historic monuments of ancient Kyoto as a World Heritage Site, experts asked why Daikakuji was not included. The reason is that the buildings of Daikakuji are not considered national treasures. However, there are no similar criteria in other parts of the world, prompting authorities to re-evaluate the conditions for applying for World Heritage status. The ancient Kyoto sites and other World Heritage sites in Japan may change in the future. Furthermore, not being listed as a World Heritage Site does not mean a site has a lower value for visitors. The Deepest Japan series aims to introduce Kyoto and other Japanese cultural aspects as much as possible, enhancing the quality of your trip to Japan. Take your time with the beauty of these sights. The charm of Arashiyama is endless, and even spending 30 minutes at Togetsukyo Bridge won't be enough to appreciate its allure fully. Knowing that Arashiyama was once a playground for ancient nobility and the setting for the classic novel The Tale of Genji, you might be tempted to wear a kimono and ride in a rickshaw on your next visit to experience the traditional atmosphere of ancient Kyoto. Cherry blossoms and autumn leaves can be enjoyed everywhere, but the Hozugawa river boat rides and bamboo groves can only be found in Arashiyama. Understanding Kyoto's history will undoubtedly allow you to enjoy a higher quality of travel. With over 1,000 years of history, Kyoto is much more complex than Tokyo, which has a 400-year history. It takes work to understand every aspect. Still, during my time in Kyoto, I aim to introduce its charm and dramatic stories as simply as possible.